Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to try and answer the question on which Xbox you should buy, the Xbox One S or the Xbox One X. So you might be in the market for a new Xbox, but you're unsure which one to get. Well, in this video I'm going to talk about the similarities between both of them and also the differences between them. And then at the end I'm going to give you my personal opinion. And then hopefully by watching the video you'll be able to make a more informed decision. But remember, these are just opinions, and your opinion will be different and other people's opinions will be different. So if you've got an opinion on this, please add it to the comments below and it will help viewers trying to decide which one to get. But let's keep it well mannered and let's keep it useful. So put down your choice and then put down the reason for that choice, and then it will be helpful to people reading it. We're not going to gain anything by having a big argument between PlayStation and Xbox. This is just purely a comparison between the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. Let's get started. So starting with the size, you can see that there's very little size difference between them. So that's not going to sway you either way, because a few millimeters here or there doesn't really make any difference. Now the Xbox One X is a lot heavier than the Xbox One S, but that doesn't matter because it's not a portable console anyway. Now when it comes to the actual design of them, obviously they're different colours, but overall they still kind of look similar to each other. So that's just going to be down to personal taste. What I would say is the Xbox One X does seem to pick up your fingerprints pretty easy, while the Xbox One S just always looks good. And personally, I like the white and black look of the Xbox One S, but other people will prefer the uniform colour of the Xbox One X. Now what I like about the Xbox One X is that there is no vents on top of it. So if you have a look here, you can see that there's no vents. So in theory, you can stack AV equipment on top of it. I don't know how it's going to perform long term with overheating if you're putting other hot equipment on top of it. But it's an option that you definitely can't have on the Xbox One S because of this great big whopping vent up here. So that's a good feature on the Xbox One X. When it comes to ports, we've got exactly the same on the S as the X. It's just that the layout will be different. For example, we've got a USB port here on the right hand side, while on the S it's on the left hand side. We've got the IR blaster on the left, while on the S it's on the right. Now when it comes to the actual back, it's exactly the same, and they did this on purpose because they knew some people would be going from the S over to the X. So to make it easy, they've put things in the same location. So if you have your Ethernet port over here on the S, you've still got your Ethernet port over here on the right. And the ports are the same. For example, HDMI 2B, when it comes to the HDMI in, it will be 1.4B. The USBs are both 3 and the Ethernets are both gigabit Ethernets. Both the consoles are capable of playing the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs. So not just a normal Blu-ray, we're talking about UHD Blu-ray, the 4K Ultra HD ones, which is fantastic. So you're going to get 4K and HDR when you're using your 4K Blu-rays on the S and also the X. Also, they will both support Dolby Atmos and Dolby 5.1. So if you're into your home theatre, both of these will work as well as each other. Now when it comes to the noise level on both consoles, they both perform well and they're both nice and quiet. And that's quite an engineering feat on behalf of the Xbox One X to be able to play Forza 7 on a 4K TV at 60 frames per second and for it to be as quiet as an Xbox One S. So noise level, they're both acceptable. You're not going to have a problem with either of them. Now when it comes to streaming apps, they will both stream the same apps in 4K and HDR. So if you've got Netflix and you've gone for the premium package, then on both of these you will be able to watch Ultra HD with HDR and with Dolby Atmos as well on selected titles. The same goes for Amazon and YouTube. They're exactly the same. Doesn't matter which console you're getting. Both consoles come with the latest Xbox controllers. So we've got the white version here for the Xbox One S and we've got the black version for the Xbox One X. But they are both identical controllers and they both have Bluetooth. So if you want to use these on your Windows 10 PC to do Xbox Play Anywhere, so remember with the Xbox you get the option to play it on the Xbox here, but if you get a Play Anywhere title, for example like Forza 7, then you will be able to play that on your PC as well as your Xbox. So you can connect these ones up via Bluetooth. So when it comes to the controllers, there's no difference between the two, again, apart from the colour. Now one of the differences between the two consoles are games. not the library of games, because they're going to be exactly the same on both of them. Whatever game you buy for the Xbox One X, you will be able to use on the Xbox One S, and vice versa. But some games will have a label which says enhanced for Xbox One X, and those games will only have the enhancements working obviously on the Xbox One X. So that could be better frame rates, or it could be just overall better visuals, but either way you're not going to get those enhancements on the Xbox One S. Now, for example, Forza 7 is one of those games that has been enhanced for the Xbox One X, and when you load it up on an Xbox One X you will see this. And you won't get that when you load up exactly the same game on the Xbox One S. So this game is going to perform better on the Xbox One X. Now, what is the main difference between these two consoles? Well, let me give you a clue. Yep, you've guessed it. Reference to the Power Glove. The main difference is power. Now, the Xbox One X is way more powerful than the Xbox One S. Whether or not you're going to use that power or not will depend on the games you're playing and whether or not you're using a 4K TV. But nevertheless, the power is still there. So you've got a more powerful processor and you've got more RAM. But what does this mean in the real world? Well, if we were to take the Xbox One S, for example, we will get a 4K image on a TV, a 4K TV with the Xbox One S. But what it's doing is, let's take a game like Forza Horizon 3. The Xbox One S is actually outputting 1080p, which is being upscaled to 4K. And what that actually means is, pretend now this TV has 8 million pixels, so 8 million dots all over it. The Xbox One S is actually only outputting 2 million pixels, and then it's using upscaling to basically guess the other 6 million pixels. So it does a good job, but it's not as good as rendering the game in 4K, native 4K to begin with. And that's what the Xbox One X does. It's powerful enough to play Forza 7 with 60 frames per second in 4K. So out of those 8 million pixels, the Xbox One X is pushing out 8 million pixels. So there's no guessing going on. It is what it is, and that's why a 4K image will look better than a 1080p image or a 900p image upscaled to 4K. And again, even on a 1080p TV, the Xbox One X will look better because of super sampling. Now, can you really tell the difference between 4K and 1080p? Well, yes you can. 4K is better. But it's not the leap that you had from going from standard definition to high definition. That was a good leap and everybody could see it. The jump to 4K is a harder one to justify because a lot of times you can't notice it, especially if you sit further away from the TV. So up close, yes, you will be able to notice it, but as you start to get further and further away, there's a point at which you won't be able to tell whether it's a difference between 1080p or 4K. Now I'm just going to try and show you a quick comparison between the difference between the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. Now bearing in mind this is only filmed in 1080p and also via YouTube, so it's not in 4K, so you're not going to get the same difference as what you're going to get with your own eyes in real life, but hopefully you will see kind of the difference between them. So this is the Xbox One S. You can see here it says Xbox One S. This is a demo called Insects. Now if I zoom right in, if you look at the face there, right, you can sort of see the level of detail. So if you see the ladybug, if you look by the eye there, you can kind of see just a few hairs now just on the face of the ladybug, but they're not very clear. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to go into the same position now on the Xbox One X. So let's go to Source, Xbox One X, and now if we zoom in to the same position, can you see now that there's much more texture on that face? And basically that's all there really is to it. You know, if you were to look at that from a big distance, you're not going to see a huge amount of difference, but when you compare the two close up, you really can see that 4K has much more detail. So what you'll find is that when you're watching something on the Xbox One S, you quickly become used to it, but when you go then to the Xbox One X, everything does look a lot sharper. Now, a good way of telling the difference is by just simply turning off and on 4K. So if I was just to pause it, there for example, and now if I turn on and off 4K, that's with it on, and now it's 4K off, and you should be able to tell the difference now. So if I was to go here, so that's with it off and that's with it on. So if you look at the eye now, that's with it off and on. You can just see more definition. Now, if you're not bothered by that sort of stuff, there's really no point in getting the Xbox One X. But if you like this kind of thing, well, that's what the Xbox One X is made for, as well as much more stable and better frame rates. So on some games, you might get 30 frames per second on the Xbox One S, but then it might dip when there's a lot happening on the screen. So when there's a lot of enemies coming towards you, then it could dip a lot lower. But with the Xbox One X, even if it's not 60 frames per second, it's still going to be a rock steady 30 frames per second. So you should notice that games are more smoother. The storage is different on both models as well. On the base model of the Xbox One S is 500 gigabytes, while on the Xbox One X is 1 terabyte, so it's twice as much storage as the base model of the Xbox One S. You can get other models like 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte of these, but they are more expensive. Ballpark figure is that to go from a 500 gigabyte to a 1 terabyte is going to be around £50 more, so take that into account when you're pricing up the consoles. But although we have twice the storage on the Xbox One X, the games take up more room. So Forza 7 on here will be around 99 gigabytes, while on here it's only 67 gigabytes because you haven't got all that extra information for the 4K rendering. So although it sounds like you're getting much more storage on here, you're going to need more storage because the games are bigger. So the Xbox One X comes with 1 terabyte of storage, so you can store your games on there, but it also comes with a little bit of flash storage, which is 8 gigabytes, which is a solid state, which works much quicker. So it puts the frequently used files on there to speed up the operating system. In real terms, can I tell the difference between the two? Not really, but again, they put it on there. It probably helps a little bit, it's just that I don't notice it. And so now we come to the final verdict. Should you get an Xbox One S or an Xbox One X? Well, unfortunately, it always comes down to money. Just like everything in life, it boils down to money. And it depends on how much you have. The Xbox One X is £450 in the UK at the moment, and that's without any games. The Xbox One S, on the other hand, I can get from more than one shop for £170, and that includes Forza Horizon 3. So that is a serious reduction in price from the Xbox One X. So if money's no object to you, if you earn a lot of money, or if your parents are rich and they're willing to spend £450 on a console, then by all means, get the Xbox One X. It is a great console with fantastic engineering to get so much in something so small. It is by far the better console of the two, but not when it comes to bang for your buck, because this is much better value, because the differences between them isn't that great in the real world. So on paper, this is much better, but whether you're playing Forza 7 on this or this, whether you're playing Forza Horizon 3 on this or this, you're still going to have HDR. If you've got a 4K HDR TV, you're still going to get a great experience on this, and considering this is only £170, you can't get away from that fact. So if you've got loads of money, of course, get the Xbox One X. Also, you're going to future-proof it as well, because if Microsoft do bring out VR or augmented reality, obviously it's going to work much better on a more powerful machine like the Xbox One X. So my personal final verdict is to go for the Xbox One S. Not because I hate the Xbox One X, I love the Xbox One X. But for me, the Xbox One S does so much for such a small price. £170 including the game, in my opinion, is an absolute steal. And I think pound for pound, you're going to get much more enjoyment from this than this, purely because of the money. Now, if you had £450 to spend, or you've already saved up £450, or your parents are willing to give you £450 for a present, would I then recommend the Xbox One X? Well, if I'm honest with you, no, I still wouldn't. I would recommend, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, I would recommend going for the Xbox One S and the Nintendo Switch. because then you've got an option to do portable gaming on the go, and as well as that, you don't just have to play this when you're out and about. If, for example, you're getting on a bit in life like myself and you've got a wife and kids, then sometimes it's hard to dedicate time to play on a console, and then when you do want to play on a console, sometimes you have to wait for it to update for half an hour. Good thing about the Nintendo Switch is everything's pretty much instant. You pick it up and I can be playing a game in less than a minute, and even if it does have to do an update, everything's so easy to use on the Nintendo Switch that you can update it in a couple of minutes, and even the games and stuff, updates, nothing takes very long in this thing. So just before going to bed, you can pick this up and you can play it for 10-15 minutes, while normally you have to set yourself aside time to play on a console, and as you get older you don't always have that time. So the Nintendo Switch isn't just for children. A lot of adults find that they get a lot of use out of it as well. So in my opinion, and it is just my opinion, I would go for these two because they equal the same price as the Xbox One X. I can walk down the road right now and buy this for £170, and I can buy this for £280. 170 plus 280 equals 450, the exact price of the Xbox One X. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you'll have a bit more info now about going forward on which one to buy. Please give it a thumbs up if it's helped you out, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care, bye now.